The Indiana Fever many fans is still poking fingers at head coach Stephanie White for actually making the game not entertaining anymore, bro. This motion offense has to be addressed, and Stephanie White has to be held accountable because it's truly the offense that she's running, and it is not for Caitlin Clark at this point. Now, both Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White spoke to the media immediately after this game.
What actually took place behind the scenes, you'll have to watch it to believe it, because this isn't your typical press conference. No, this is Caitlin Uncensored, and let's just say that jaws are on the floor. Grab popcorn. Caitlin Clark just dropped a brutally honest bombshell about her health, and she didn't hold back on Stephanie White. Was it shaded? Was it true? Was it wrapped in a jump shot? And was it served cold?
Thought at times we could have played a little bit faster, and I think that's on me, like not conceding in that. We still got to play up tempo. We still got to play fast. But I mean, I thought for the most part we did a lot of stuff that coach wanted us to do, and that wasn't why we lost.
I can't hold you, man. That kind of looked like she let that slip out, man. I don't know. But I mean, we all see it. When they play slow, it's just not a good team, man. They're not as good as we see that they could be, right? So they need to play fast, man. I think, they don't necessarily look that good when they're playing half-court ball. Maybe taking something from the Valkyries, man. The Valkyries run, all right? They be running.
She appears worn out, spiritually dehydrated, but not exhausted, while the WNBA puts every obstacle in her path like a warped version of American Ninja Warrior. But with worse officials and even worse coaches, Caitlin Clark is surviving on coffee, fumes, and pure resolve. The hardwood is forgotten as this woman navigates landmines.
The league needs to take care of Caitlin, not for special treatment purposes, but that's who everybody's there to see. Everybody wants to see Caitlin Clark play. And if you let other teams and other people beat the shit out of her, she's going to spend 2 weeks out injured. And your attendance is going to drop because people aren't going to get the chance to see her. And if you actually want to be paid the same as the NBA players, obviously not by actual dollar for dollar, but for revenue percentage, you need to protect her. You need her to be playing at her best and not be having the shit kicked out of her.
She has been the face of hope growth and ticket sales, but she has also turned into the referee's favorite chew toy, leading them to think she is a tackling dummy. This isn't just missed calls anymore, it's a full-fledged experimental science project where referees test how many shoulder bumps and illegal screens a player can take before losing their mind.
The Las Vegas Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 89-81. And this game was disappointing for many fans, not only for the fact that it seemed like the Fever had this one in the bag, but they kind of gave it away at the end of the game, but also because it seemed like there was something off with this Fever team. They didn't have the same energy and spark that we all know and love. So many fans are asking, what is going on?
The whistles have changed into wind instruments that only play when she is the one acting, and all of a sudden the rule book seems like a chaos-written choose-your-own-adventure book. If someone sneezes on her, it continues to play, but if she breathes close to someone, that is a flagrant and a 5-game suspension.
I think I have figured out the solution to the Indiana Fever's problems. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. This is what we got to do. We got to put Caitlin Clark off ball. We need to run a motion offense. So when the defense takes away what Caitlin Clark does best, we have other players that can still perform. So when she does have bad games, we're not completely dead in the water. I think that is the best way to move forward with this Indiana Fever team.
Physicality is illegal, not metaphorically legitimately suspicious. There have been muggings with less contact at this point, and we may need to investigate whether some of these defenders have brass knuckles taped under their wristbands. Additionally, what are the league's response crickets or worse? Passive-aggressive Instagram posts that act as though nothing is wrong while their biggest star is slammed into irrelevant, and let's not even talk about Indiana. The atmosphere is heavy, the vibes are off, and the locker room energy feels like a haunted group therapy session funded by Gatorade and Broken Dreams. It seems as though Caitlin entered a franchise made entirely of IKEA furniture. which is brittle, unstable, and difficult to assemble. You would think Indiana would throw a lavish party for a generational talent, but instead they gave her a paper towel and directed her to a leaking faucet. She is attempting to play for DChess while her teammates are occupied with playing Hungry Hippos. There is no system, no guidance, just vibes, and not the positive kind, and Stephanie White is on the sidelines creating plays like she's playing Pictionary with invisible ink. The offense is also vague, the defense is non-existent.
Let's first talk about Caitlin Clark. So she struggled once again in this game. She was 7 for 20 from the field and 1 for 10 from 3, which puts her at 1 for 17 over the past few games. And if you're a fan of Caitlin Clark, you know that this is so unlike her. She is arguably the best shooter in the WNBA, and she is having a significant cold streak over the past 2 games. But her missing shots isn't actually what bothers me. The thing that bothered me most in the game yesterday was the one shot that she passed up. Now, she had been missing a few shots, and if you guys were on my live stream, I said the thing that she needs to do is to continue shooting. Shooters shoot. The only way to break a cold streak is to continue shooting.
As the game devolves farther into chaos, it's not coaching. It's interpretive dance. Stephanie White stands there pointing as though she's getting coffee in a noisy drive-through every time Clark looks to the bench, making it seem like he's staring into space. Her game used to be crisp and electric, but now it appears to be buffering. Her passes are a little late, her confidence is a little shaken, and she is hesitating where she once attacked with reckless genius. Honestly, who wouldn't imagine trying to play elite-level basketball while continuously checking your back for flying elbows and your bench for signs of sentient life at this rate? One moment she wants fast pace, the next she yells about patience, and the players are caught in a full-speed existential crisis trying to figure out which version of the plan they're following. If any, Caitlin is going to require a sabbatical, an exorcist, or possibly both, because what she is going through is psychological warfare rather than just poor basketball. This league is meant to protect and elevate its players, not reduce them to dusty highlight reels and regret, but instead, they are slowly draining her by a league that begged for her brilliance but failed to foster it.
Wait, what'd you say? Wait, what? Did you just tell me that Stephanie White went on an interview tour this whole entire offseason saying exactly that? Did you just tell me Stephanie White went on an interview? So how come when Caitlin Clark has a bad game, this team looks like absolute dog shit? How come when Caitlin Clark isn't busy backpacking this team, it looks like absolute dog shit? Coach, just a question. Just a question. What we saw today, folks, I feel bad for everybody that had to sit through that. Everybody that wasted 2 hours and 25 minutes watching the Indiana Fever versus the Las Vegas Aces. I feel bad that we had to sit through that. That was a tough watch.
And the worst part is that she hasn't even reached her sophomore stride yet. This is supposed to be the glow-up season, the big leap, the I know what I'm doing now phase. Instead, she's trying to survive the Hunger Games with a water pistol and a group of mismatched teammates, and while the fan base is yelling for help, league officials are out here playing Sudoku with the rules. It's almost poetic in a tragic Shakespearean way, a generational talent stuck in a Groundhog Day remake, where every game is just a remix of disappointment and bruised ribs, and Stephanie White keeps grinning her way through press conferences, as if she's unlocked some master plan that only exists in parallel dimensions. What is this master plan? Anyway, that turns Caitlin into a role player. We're just a few seconds away from White attempting to reimagine Clark as a defensive specialist because, if we're being brutally honest, no one else is Caitlin Clark. When you have chaos and 5-minute offensive droughts, it's obvious that wasting once-in-a-lifetime talent is the hot new strategy that needs to be developed. Get out before they ruin her completely, before she starts questioning the very instincts that made her unstoppable, before she trades her fire for exhaustion, before she wakes up and realizes she's not leading a revolution, but rather a dumpster fire with a hoop nailed to the side.
Well, I think you have to look at things a little bit holistically. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to officiate, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout the course of her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets blitzed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time. And she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to officiate because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time.
She needs a way out. It will be more difficult for her to recover the longer she remains in this mental whirlpool. And yeah, this isn't just about losing games, it's about losing her identity as a player while the league looks on helplessly. She's not just any player, she's the reason people are watching, and yet they're treating her like a spare part in a 20-year-old team rebuild with a malfunctioning GPS. It's perplexing that they rolled out every camera and sponsorship deal the moment she turned pro, and now they're letting her fade behind post entries and aimless dribble handoffs. While this is going on, Stephanie White is occupied with treating lineups like a Pinterest board and constantly experimenting with rotations that make no sense. For example, she says, "Sure, let's take Caitlin off the ball for 80% of the game. That will definitely fix things. Who needs structure when you can just toss darts at a whiteboard and hope for chemistry?" The illusion of patience is supporting the entire system, but patience only works when there is a plan, and all indications point to the absence of one. Simply vibes if no one is going to save her. She must save herself, because this is the kind of environment that not only messes with your stats, but also with your soul. Honestly, she deserves better, the fans deserve better, and the game deserves better. Clark is too intelligent for this, too competitive, and too good to be stuck in basketball purgatory while everyone else plays musical chairs with mediocrity.
Well, I be damned. I be damned. 7 for 20 from the field, 1 for 10 from the three-point line. And look at those turnovers, 8 turnovers. She leads the league in turnovers. But guess what? Her Clarkies are only gonna be impressed, and they're gonna brag about the 19 points and 10 assists. Me personally, I'm all about efficiency. I'm concerned about those last 3, them turnovers, which she leads the league in turnovers. She is shooting horrible from the field. And as far as them three-pointers, in the last 2 games, she's only made 1 three-pointer, and that's the one against the Ace.
Therefore, Caitlin Clark should start packing her bags unless Indiana finds a coach who understands the difference between motion offense and chaotic flailing. If she stays much longer, we won't be witnessing the rise of a superstar, but rather the demise of a legend under bad whistles, apathy, and Stephanie White's enchanted tour of tactical confusion. She is on the court in the interim, but she is not even close to running the show. Caitlin Clark appears to be trapped in a dystopian stage play where she is the lead but is never permitted to speak. Her movements and talent are unaffected, but the authority, leadership, and spark of command that once made her the center of the basketball universe are being diminished, smothered, erased, and somehow everyone is acting as though nothing is wrong. It's emotional abuse, and the suffering isn't getting worse. This is a full-blown character assassination with sneakers on Caitlin Clark. Instead of being developed, she is being dismantled piece by piece, like a car being dismantled for parts in a back alley garage, and everyone is behaving as though it's just a normal part of being a rookie, as though being gaslighted into insignificance is a character-building exercise. But spoiler alert, it's not. Rather, it's a slow, vicious, soul-sucking drain wrapped in a glossy WNBA logo.
Thought that the Indiana Fever were trying to be that team that runs you off the floor, that hustles. I felt like they were the deepest team.
Additionally, she's still present and standing, but at what cost? Each game adds another layer of injuries. She is surviving on fumes and wrath, and the toll is evident in her physical and mental reputation. The body language stiffens and the smiles tighten. The fire's burning beneath a heap of bullshit. And worst of all, It's deliberate erosion rather than an accident. Let's not act like this is just about one team. It's about the entire league letting the mob loose on her and then shrugging like it's just part of the culture. When she reacts like any other human would, they call her fragile. But the irony is that they treat her like she's invincible and then make fun of her for bleeding. If you thought that was as dark as it gets, then introduce Gino Auriemma. It seems like we needed that little side swipe to round out the madness. And man, who could have offered advice or support chose to go into full demolition mode without warning, without context, just a condescending ball of unjustified shade directed directly at a 22-year-old navigating the biggest circus in sports right now, as if she needed more reasons to doubt everything. It wasn't critique, it was character defamation with varsity credentials. There was no coach's observation that was sabotaging loud, unneeded, and incredibly unhelpful. It didn't clarify anything, just added another layer of bitterness to it. Already toxic soup, it was the kind of dismissive bullshit that hurts 10 times more coming from someone who should know better.
At all from 3 years or anything like that. I mean, there's going to be stretches that are really good, there's going to be stretches that aren't as good, and obviously it's frustrating. You want them to go in, and even tonight I felt like there was a few that felt really good off my hand and it just didn't go down. And even the mid-range jump shot to start the fourth quarter and the three to start the fourth quarter, they both felt good off my hand. So it's just that's just frustrating. And I think for the challenge for myself going forward is just continue to pour into every other aspect of the game, and I can continue to have an impact in all those other areas. I thought I got to the rim well. It was just certainly a tough shooting night, and you got to find a way to continue to shoot and remain confident in myself, because I know I put the time in. But for me, I don't feel like it's anything that's off.
I'm sorry, but this is a regular season game. There's no player that's going to be that depressed about a loss. The emotion that she's having right now, that's emotion that you have when you lose a championship. But they didn't lose a championship, so it's only one other thing. It's the coach. I knew something was up, y'all. I played basketball all my life. I played point guard. There was something off about Miss Caitlin when I was watching that Aces game. And I couldn't put my finger on it. It just seemed like Miss Caitlin, she was definitely unmotivated. She looked defeated the whole game. She didn't look like she was having fun. And that is always because of the coach. Always.